Today I was sitting here playing with Play-Doh with my kids, trying to be present, and I'm not gonna lie, my brain started to wander. As I was sitting there, I started making a brain, and I was shaping this Play-Doh into a brain, and I had this thought: what if our brains are actually more moldable than we think? And what if the patterns that we feel stuck in are not proof that we are actually broken? And what if they are just pathways we have repeated so many times that they have become familiar? And what if we really can reshape them like Play-Doh? I've been thinking about this a lot because I'm turning 33 this week, and there's something about birthdays in your 30s that make you reflect a little bit harder, and not in like a dramatic way, but kind of dramatic. Like, who am I? What am I doing with my life? Why does my hip hurt when I wake up in the morning? Or why did I even walk into this room in the first place? But genuinely, I've been asking myself this question: can something that I'm learning about neuroplasticity still transform my mind at 33? Because I've heard so many times that after a certain age, it gets harder to change. Like, it's harder to build new habits, it's harder to start over, become someone new, and that's honestly felt really personal lately. Because recently, I have completely started over in my career. I went from real estate to content creation and coaching, and I felt like I pushed a big old factory reset button without backing up to the cloud. Like, everything that was familiar and everything that I was doing has been like completely wiped, and I've had to relearn systems, relearn the rhythm of my life, relearn discipline, relearn my beliefs, my confidence, and honestly relearn like who I am. And that's been really hard. So I started learning more about neuroplasticity, and it's something that I learned about a couple years ago, but I'm revisiting it. It gave me like this little piece of hope, because neuroplasticity in simple terms is your brain's ability to physically change itself based on repeated experiences. So like, your brain is not just fixed, it's always adapting to what you repeat. And every thought, every emotion, every habit, and every action strengthens certain neural pathways. The more you repeat something, the easier that pathway becomes to access. So while I'm sitting here reshaping this Play-Doh brain, I'm realizing maybe change is not about becoming this completely different person overnight, like I was like trying to contemplate how to do. Maybe it's about choosing this new pathway enough time that it starts to become familiar. And honestly, that makes me a little bit emotional, because there was this season of my life where I just felt like it had so much momentum, and so much momentum that everything felt easy. And like, for over half a decade, I was in real estate, and every single year I was in it, I doubled my sales. I had my second baby during that season, and then I jumped into bodybuilding and competed at national shows. I was in this season where I was just locked in. I had momentum, I had drive, I had proof that I could follow through. And sometimes when I look back at that version of myself, I feel inspired, but sometimes I feel discouraged, if I'm gonna be honest, because I think like, where did she go? Like, who was that girl? How did she do that? And maybe you felt that too. Maybe you look back at seasons where you were completely disciplined, consistent, confident, financially focused, in shape, ambitious, all the things, and you almost feel disconnected from that version of you. Like, how did I even do that? How did I have so much energy and stay consistent? And how did I believe in myself like that? But I think we forget something very important. When we look back, we remember this end result. We remember the success, the body, the business that we built, the race that we finished, accomplishment, and we forget the reps that it took to become that person. We forget that that version of us was built one repeated choice at a time. Like, that version of me didn't just appear. Like, I was practiced. And that's why neuroplasticity matters so much to me right now, because maybe that old version of me wasn't just like this magical person. Like, maybe she was just a version of me that was deeply practiced in pathways. She was disciplined, practice followed through, she believed in herself, she practiced showing up. Then at that moment, when I was on top of the world and I felt like nothing would stop me, my life slowly started to change. Life started serving me some pretty heavy blows, and slowly my priorities shifted. Like, I no longer could focus on just achievement, and I had to start focusing on healing and stillness and growth. I heard something recently that hit me so hard. It was that if you help a butterfly out of the cocoon, it will die. And the struggle is part of what helps it fully develop. And I think sometimes we want to skip the painful parts of our life, and we skip the discomfort, and we want to skip the cocoon. We want the wings, like we want these beautiful wings without the wrestle. But maybe some of these seasons aren't here to destroy us. Like sometimes I felt like this season was destroying me, but maybe they are here to develop us. And that season wasn't failure. I've started to realize it was necessary. And now I'm like in this really weird in between place where I'm definitely not who I used to be, and I'm absolutely not where I want to be yet. And this place really feels like so uncomfortable. And it feels like to me that I should already know what to do because I've already done the hard things before. But what if this starting over feels hard because your brain is simply just not used to the new pathway yet? What if it's not a character flaw and you're not lazy, it's just literally neuroscience? If you've been practicing survival, your brain is going to get very good at survival. If you've been practicing avoidance, you're gonna get good at avoidance. If you've been practicing fear, guess what? You're gonna get good at fear. I heard recently that we have about 60,000 thoughts that go through our head on the daily, and 80% of those thoughts that go through our brain are usually negative, which is absolutely insane to me. But like, if your brain can get good at patterns that keep you stuck, it can also get good at patterns that move you forward. And that means every time you choose a good thought and pair it with a good action, you are strengthening that new pathway. And every time I choose to wake up and move my body and I'm strengthening the pathway of discipline. Every time I don't snooze my alarm and I immediately get up, that strengthens. And this is where I think that we really overcomplicate change. We think transformation requires a full life overhaul. We think that we need this perfect schedule, perfect mindset, perfect workout plan, strategy, perfect morning routine, perfect house, and kids that don't ask for a snack every 11 minutes of the day. But what if it's simpler than that? And I'm not saying easier, but simpler. What if it really is just one choice at a time, repeated, and one thought repeated, one action repeated, one promise kept, and then one rep, another rep, and then another, and slowly what felt forced in the beginning starts to feel familiar. And that's honestly how I've realized that momentum is built. But instead of thinking that we have this entire mountain to climb like in one day, like what if we just simply take the next step? Like we simplify, we stop making it a mountain to climb and just making it the next right choice. That is what I'm trying to practice right now, because starting over in content creation instead of real estate has really challenged me in completely different ways than real estate did. In real estate, like I knew the game. I knew what moved the needle and what actions produced the results, and I had the years of proof behind me. But content creation feels really vulnerable, and it's creative and it's personal, and it requires consistency without immediate validation. It requires putting yourself out there before you have proof that it's actually working, and that has like seriously been so hard for me. I'll sit down sometimes and I'll edit, and then suddenly it feels very urgent to organize the pantry. And I've realized that that is because I have practiced over the last year or so being comfortable. I've literally trained my brain. Avoid failure. We're going to do things that aren't going to move the needle forward, and that's just because I've literally done that over and over the last little while. What if the new pathway that I'm trying to build just says like, post the video anyway? It's not going to be perfect, and I'm not going to feel confident every time, but I'm becoming the woman that follows through. And I think that's where confidence is built. If you end up subscribing, you're going to learn that I love personal development. And one of the people that I love listening to is Ed Milet, and he talks about the fastest way to build confidence is to follow through on what you said that you were going to do. Confidence comes from self-trust, and self-trust comes from keeping promises to yourself. So when you say, I'm going to go and work out, and you do it, you're not just doing that action, you're building trust in yourself, and that's how you build identity. So when I show up, and not only show up, but do an extra rep, I'm starting to confirm to myself, like, I deserve this, and I deserve this to the fullest degree. Sometimes we say that we want this next level, but then our daily actions are reinforcing this like old identity. Like, we say that we want to be disciplined, but then we practice avoiding what is going to keep us disciplined. We say that we want to be consistent, but then we keep waiting to feel motivated to start. And I keep saying, like, I want God to use me, but then I keep hiding. And I'm saying all this with love because I am saying it to myself too. At 33, I'm realizing I literally cannot shame myself into becoming the next version of me. I've literally tried that for the last year and it does not work. Shame might get me moving for a minute, but it cannot sustain transformation. Real transformation comes from identity. It comes from deciding, like, this is who I am going to be, and then practicing that identity through repeated action. Journey is actually the reward. I used to think that the goal was a reward, like the sale or the body or the stage, the accomplishment, the income goal. And those things are all beautiful, but the real reward is who you become on the way. Because sometimes after you hit a goal, the high fades faster than you would think it would. And then we're left to say, like, okay, now what? This is because the finish line was never meant to be this source of fulfillment. The journey is where your brain is changing, your identity is changing, where the confidence is built. And the journey is where you become someone who can actually hold the blessings that you're praying for. And this is why I'm trying to remember in this season, like, I'm not just trying to build a career. I'm trying to become like the person who can hold the calling, the business, the creativity, the motherhood, and the marriage. And that person isn't built just with one massive breakthrough. It's built in daily reps and getting up and trying again and posting and doing the boring, monotonous little tasks that are required in order to reach that big goal. Like, maybe me at 33 is rebuilding from a deeper place. And it's like not from fear. It's not from proving myself or hustle. It's more from faith and purpose and identity. And from the belief that my brain can change, my habits can change, my discipline and my confidence can change. The last couple of weeks, I have gotten so intentional on who I want to become. And I've written down each actionable step that it's going to take to become that person. Before I wrote everything out, I felt like honestly so overwhelmed with all these goals that I want to accomplish. And now that I've written them out and I know the daily actionable steps to take, it has become so much easier. I've started doing them. I've gotten very clear on them. I'm thinking about them daily, and that helps me continue to work towards them. And quite honestly, as I've started a couple weeks ago, the first day that I woke up, my eyelids felt like glue. And first day, like I said, it was hard. The next day, still hard. The next day, still hard. But over the last couple of weeks, it's gotten so much easier. Now when my alarm goes off, like, my body's even already trying to wake up. Like, it's already started this pathway of like, this is what we do. This is what time we wake up. This is what we do when we wake up. And now, honestly, those pathways are starting to form, and it's starting to become second nature, and it's starting to be more what I'm doing in default setting versus like this gears that are trying to grind together that aren't. When I first started thinking about it and revisiting this concept, I literally was doubting myself. I'm like, can I actually really do this? Like, I don't know. And day by day, I feel like I quickly started to gain momentum and excitement and joy for goals and discipline again. And so the question I asked at the beginning was, can neuroplasticity really help me change my brain? Even at 33, I'm officially 33 now. I know the answer is absolutely yes. It doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter if you've never done it before ever in your life. You can, because your brain can create new pathways no matter what. That just gives me, and hopefully you, so much hope that you really can make actionable changes in your life. You have everything that you need inside of you to start forming those pathways. And I can honestly say for myself, I've seen it work. And I believe that it can work with anything that you want to change about yourself. And unfortunately, that means it will work for laundry. And that's kind of unfortunate because I have an issue and I need to face it. So tell me, what is it that you want to form new pathways with? Is it discipline? Is it consistency? Is it your identity, your confidence? Tell me in the comments. For me, it is discipline and unfortunately laundry. We'll see you in the next video, guys.